Okay, day 6. I just made some banana bread. I'm about to cut into it, make sure I didn't fuck it up. Here we go. Grandma Graydon at his best. Oh yeah. It is March 30th, which means that the 14 days of quarantine are complete. Tomorrow I'm a free man and I can roam the streets of Shanghai. Now the past 14 days actually haven't been so bad. I've gotten a lot done with work, was able to catch up on a few hobbies, even got back into cooking, which has been really nice. I've been living in Shanghai for about 7 years now, and I've probably cooked about 10 times in that 7 years. So 14 days of nothing but cooking at home has been great. That being said, I am very much looking forward to getting back out there and sampling some of the world famous food that this city has to offer. Very excited for that. And by all accounts that I've seen online, it looks like most bars and restaurants are back up and running, which is great to hear. Very encouraging for everyone else around the world, I hope. Seeing how China is back on track. Now things aren't back to normal, but it's heading in the right direction. Just a couple days ago, China has actually closed the borders to foreigners, which isn't, it's not great news. I do have colleagues that are in North America and Europe that are not going to be able to come back for, I would assume, a couple of weeks. But you know what? That's enough with the negative news. If you want more miserable updates, you can just tune into one of the news networks. So instead, I'm going to focus on the good. I'm going to talk a little bit about what I did to get through the 14 days, how I was able to be productive, and come out of it feeling good, feeling ready to take on whatever's out there in Shanghai, which I hope isn't anything too much. So now, a couple of things that got me through it. One was waking up at a reasonable hour. Now, if you know me, I work in the alcohol industry, so I'm not usually up super early because I'm out usually quite late. I've got the Jack Black schedule of waking up at the crack of noon. So, but the past year or so, I've been trying to wake up at around 7:30, and that's what I tried to stick to in this 2 weeks. Now, waking up early, I absolutely hate it, but it does make you feel motivated, and it does help, kickstart your day a lot earlier. You get a lot more done in the day. It is absolutely a fact. So as much as I enjoy, rolling out of bed at a much later time, getting up early is something I highly recommend. This one is one that I'm a huge proponent of any time of the year, whether or not you're in quarantine or it's a beautiful summer day, is learning a new skill. Now, a great goal to have, I think, is learning a new skill every week. And it maybe doesn't need to be an entirely new skill, maybe it's just something that you're brushing up on but improving on. But having a set parameter of how you want to improve, I think, is important. So a couple of things that I was working on in this time was, one was creating these little videos. So this is relatively new to me, learning how the camera works and learning my way around the editing software and stuff has been a bit of a struggle, but it's been a great learning experience, and it's something that I think that I'll be able to use, especially in my line of work, and just for fun, documenting whatever the days have out for them. The next one, though, is related to music. Now, I am a musician as well, and I've been struggling learning Ableton. So the past week, I've really sat down for about an hour a day and tried to figure this out. Now, if you know Ableton, you know that it has an incredibly steep learning curve, and it is quite a difficult software to understand. I spent a long time even just understanding what the heck these terms meant. You can watch YouTube videos on these clips and tracks and audio tracks, MIDI tracks, and all these controllers and whatnot, and I was totally lost. I even before, maybe 6 months ago, I took private lessons with somebody who showed me the ins and outs. But this time I actually sat down and really sat with it, played around, and now I'm at a place where I'm not confident to play live yet, but I'm definitely a lot more comfortable with using the software. So that was a bit of a tangent, but the main message here was just basically to learn something. I think that some people are going to have some time on their hands, and learning something is never going to hurt you. Now, next order of business. You're up early, you got a coffee brewing. I highly recommend doing a to-do list. That would be coupled with a morning routine, okay? So if you don't have a morning routine, I highly recommend doing one. It helps you be really efficient waking up and just knowing exactly what you've got to do. And a to-do list will help structure your days, and you can go through all these little tasks and make sure that you're checking things off and staying productive in this time, and not binge watching 7 episodes of Tiger King like I see a lot of people doing, which, okay, guilty. Next, now you've got the pen and paper out. Highly recommend journaling. Now this is something I was really skeptical on before, but my friend Ian actually turned me on to this, and it's something that I found very beneficial. I don't do it every day. I probably should, but I do it definitely more than I used to, and especially in this time, it's nice to record, your day-to-day, the ins and outs, all the little intricacies. Now I don't go into crazy detail, but I do keep it top line. Basically what the basic thoughts and feelings were of the day. Maybe if you have any calls with friends and family scheduled, what kind of things you got done at work, things that you're happy that you have going on, things that maybe you aren't super stoked on. But try to keep it relatively basic, but just it's a good thing to record and write down. Helps flush some thoughts out, but also it's a good thing to reflect back on at a later date. All right, next up is related to work. Now, I hope everybody is doing okay in this regard. I know it's a really difficult time, especially small business owners. There's a lot of changes that are happening in the world right now. Now, if you are working from home, this is a great opportunity to try to go above and beyond. Maybe check out, see what your employers, your bosses are struggling with. See if there's any extra things that you can help out with. Raise your hand on extra projects, because this is going to help you, one, remain in a good light with your employers, and two, it's going to help you develop as an employee or a business owner or whatever it is. But just doing more than you think is necessary right now, I think is definitely something I would recommend. So with time on your hands, one thing that I probably should have done more of is cleaning up your apartment. So this can actually go on that to-do list that I mentioned earlier, but cleaning up an apartment, getting things organized. There's so many things around the house that we all put off. I'm terrible at this, but having a dedicated area of the apartment or house to clean every day is something that will help hopefully refresh your place and make it nice and tidy when you don't have to spend so much time in it. This is one that I've been thinking about for a long time, and it is working on a side hustle. Now, I actually didn't accomplish this, but I did work on a little bit of coding, which is something that's relatively new to me. So before I got into this, I didn't have any experience with computer science or any of the stuff. I didn't know what JavaScript was. But sitting down and trying to work on this software has hopefully, I guess this is going back to the learning a new skill, but trying to work on another way of making money. I think this is especially important in this time, and especially considering the uncertainty in the way that the world is heading in terms of the economy. So having a side hustle, getting in that extra stream of income, I think is super important. And I think right now is an opportunity to get your ducks in order. And I don't even know if that's an expression, ducks in a row, maybe I think is the expression, but I think you know what I'm trying to say. Another one is limiting your time in front of the news. Don't spend your entire evening following up on the news. There's a lot of information there, a lot of worry. As an example, when I was spending time with my parents in Vancouver a few weeks ago, they had the news on from the time they got home until the time that they were sawing logs on the couch later in the evening. And I think that it just brought a different level of stress and negative impact into the house. So I would often try to go up and just change the channel or turn it off and play a board game or whatever, but keeping your mind off of it. It's important to stay updated, but I don't think that I would recommend spending a lot of time focusing on the news. Now, this is going to be easier said than done, and it's a bit two-sided, but is choosing your time with people wisely. So on one hand, I highly recommend reaching out to those friends, wherever they are in the world, making sure they're all right, catching up, having a laugh, having a drink on a video chat with them. That's one thing that I found really beneficial and really uplifting as well, to hear about what my friends are up to in this time, making sure they're all okay, making sure their families are all right, but just generally keeping connected, making sure that things are still going, that nobody's in dire straits. On the other hand is, again, this is a little bit easier said than done, but it's limiting your time spent with the people in your apartment. Now, as I mentioned before, I live with my girlfriend here, and our apartment isn't too big. So, batting heads is understandable. There's actually a couple days there where she was a little bit upset with me and didn't talk to me for 2 days, which is pretty awkward considering we're sitting here in this tiny apartment and not saying a word to each other. But also, they were the best 2 days. Now, the next video you see, I'm probably gonna have a black eye, but totally worth it. So yeah, all in all, I'm pretty happy with how the quarantine went. You know, as I mentioned before, Meg and I are in good health. We made sure to try to do our best to stay in good health, a little bit of exercise, you know, cooking at home, obviously, and cooking relatively healthy food. So we're feeling good, we're feeling positive, and I think one of the best parts of it actually was not having to wear pants for 2 weeks. That was, you know, the silver lining, as I suppose they say. But anyways, I hope you're all doing well. Let me know what you guys are doing in this time, in this quarantine. If you have any advice for others, post it below. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents, what I kind of did to get through the 2 weeks. I'm feeling good. Like I said, got a lot done. And looking forward to crushing it now that I'm going to be able to get back out there. So hope you're all doing well. Take care of yourselves, and see you next time.